Yes, hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about training compensation, and we're going to be talking training compensation. We're going to be using Kylian Mbappe as an example. So you guys know training compensation is one of the very important thing as a football agent that you should know how to handle. So we are going to be looking at this scenario with Kylian Mbappe so that you can best understand. So it's a player that I think most of you guys know. So I'm going to be taking his career part, and then we're going to look at every situation in it. So first of all, what's training compensation? Training compensation is a payment that is made to clubs who have trained a player during the age of 12 to 21. FIFA uses this rule to actually reward the clubs, the training clubs, when they sign their first professional contract. So or when they sign a professional contract or international transfer to other clubs, so that the training clubs can benefit. So how does training compensation works? Training compensation only triggers when the player signs his first professional contract or he transfer internationally before the end of his 23rd birthday. And I said the purpose of this is that FIFA does this to reward clubs who invest their time in developing young players. So let's look at the case of Kylian Mbappe. Let's focus on when he started his career. So Kylian Mbappe started his career AS Bondy, and then next he was training with Clairefontaine. We know Clairefontaine is where the French national team trains, and then with AS Monaco. These were his youth years before he signed his first professional contract. So his first professional contract was at AS Monaco. He also played for Paris, and then he later moved to Real Madrid for free. So that's Kylian Mbappe's career. So now let's look at training compensation. Say the first professional contract was at AS Monaco. Mbappe signed his first contract with AS Monaco. Who benefited from this scenario? Because he trained between 12 and 16 at AS Bondy and Clairefontaine, Monaco had to pay training compensation to those clubs. Now, Clairefontaine is not a club; it's a sport. Let me say, it's like where most players in France, when they see you are so talented, they call you to train for Clairefontaine. It develops the players that helps the French national team. But of course, they receive training compensation. So Monaco had to pay this money to this Bondy and Clairefontaine. Monaco did not receive any compensation here because they were the club who signed him. Okay, because he grew from the academy to from Monaco Academy, and he signed his first professional contract there. So you see, those are the two people who received, or two clubs who received training compensation. Then scenario two, his transfer from AS Monaco to Paris Saint-Germain. We know Mbappe had a loan, then with an obligation to buy transfer, which was 180 million deal. And if you also remember, it was the year Neymar moved to Paris, so therefore they started forming a partnership. But anyways, let's stick to Kylian Mbappe. So important here, now Mbappe moved to Monaco. He moved from Monaco to Paris Saint-Germain. Do you remember? He moved now from Monaco to Paris Saint-Germain. Both clubs are French club domestically first. Domestic rule had to apply here. Both solidarity contribution still applies when transfer fee exists. So now who benefited from this 180 million move? So 5% of 180 million, because this is solidarity contribution, 5% of 180 million is equals to like 9 million. This 9 million was distributed to all the clubs who trained Mbappe between the age of 12 till turning 23. So I have to explain this. Training compensation didn't take place here, but solidarity contribution took place here because this was a domestic transfer. But as it's a domestic transfer, solidarity contribution still applies. So solidarity contribution says that when a player moves to another club, all the club 5% of the money transfer fee is distributed to all his former previous clubs, and the beneficiaries were who RS Bondy, Clairefontaine, and RS Monaco benefited from this. They received 5% of the, so let's say 5% of that 180 million was 9 million. So it was shared, this 9 million distributed to the club that trained him between the age of 12 to 23. Now scenario 3, when he moved from Paris Saint-Germain to Real Madrid, and we know when Mbappe moved from Paris Saint-Germain to Real Madrid was if he was a free agent, he moved free. That's 2024. He ran down his contract and then he moved free. So it was a free transfer, no transfer fee was paid, and now who benefited? Yeah, because no transfer fee was paid, there was no solidarity contribution happening. Okay, so Paris Saint-Germain didn't receive anything, or Monaco or whosoever, because there was no transfer fee involved. So then now the training compensation didn't apply because he was over 23. So you see how it goes. So these are rules you have to always learn. So RS Bondy did not receive new money because of this situation. Clairefontaine did not receive new money because of this situation. Monaco didn't receive new money because of this situation. Paris Saint-Germain received nothing in this situation. So this is a career start of Kylian Mbappe, and also how it affected training compensation or solidarity mechanism. I had to use solidarity contribution here because to apply it so that people can see how it works. Okay, so now in the case of another player, it applies different also because you have to look at which club trained him from the age from 12 to 21. So you see each scenario is different. This is for Kylian Mbappe, another player also is different. So you have to learn how to calculate this as an agent so that you don't leave money on the table. So okay, this was just some tips I had to give you people. So I hope people understood, and if there's anything you can ask me, I'll come back to you people in the comment section. Remember, my course is starting on the 7th of April for those writing the FIFA agent exam. Remember to join the waiting list, and see you then. Then we are going to be talking how things, transfers, and all things to help you pass the FIFA agent exam. The waiting list will be taking some certain numbers. Of course, we will not want people to be like 100 of people that you cannot really get to teach everyone. Of course, it's online, you can teach people, but I would like maybe a 50 to 70 group so that I can teach the people and I get to each individual explaining to them more details. But anyways, let's see how it goes because the waiting list is there. So just join the waiting list if you're interested in writing the FIFA exam this year, and also just wait. When the waiting list is open, you'll be notified. Okay, take care and talk to you later. Bye for now. Cheers.